What is up, everyone? Today, I'm going to give you an overview of how business tech, which is the function product designers are in, what that looks like, and also what kind of teams there are within that. So that if you're interested, for example, in joining or just interested in general, you can get a better picture of what it's like to work at H&M Group. So let's just jump into it. The This is kind of a simplified version, but the domains, there are several domains. So for example, the customer domain is the main one. That's where most of the product designers are, and the customer domain is responsible for developing customer facing technology associated with the full customer journey from acquisition to retention and service. So that's where most of the product designers are, but there's also assortment and product development, sourcing and production, customer fulfillment, tech enablement, etc. So those are the domains, but there are also hubs. So for example, these are regional hubs. So you have the Asia Pacific hub, the Americas hub, the Europe and Africa hub, which also has teams. And then there are also supporting functions. So I'm actually currently in a supporting function, namely innovation and incubation, but other supporting functions are people and staffing, controlling, ways of working, sustainability. So, but yeah, most product teams are in domain. So, for example, customer domain, and then further, it's split down into product areas. So, in the customer domain, you, for example, have the product exploration area, which focuses on the customer exploring the assortment. Then you have the checkout area, which deals with the checkout. And you have customer attraction, so getting more customers, and customer engagement, engaging the customers. So those are all areas, and within those areas you have the product teams. So for example, within product exploration, you would have landing and listing, product story, shopping bag and favorites, product visualization. So that is kind of the context of how the product teams are like. That's the environment product teams are. But you might be wondering, okay, what is actually a product team? I have that definition here. So this is all from the SharePoint of H&M Group, or Business Tech specifically. So product teams work with products. So what is a product? Products are formed around a mission to solve a unique customer or business problem, basically. And see that there. And then a team is working on that product, so they further develop it and are responsible for the outcome and effects. And the product team should have the competence needed to take full ownership. So that's kind of that's how things are set up, a product team organization. So with that said, let's jump into actual teams. So I'm not going to say which teams these are. I'm just going to show you what I think 5 different teams, what they can look like. So here you have quite a small team with one product owner, one product designer, and 3 software engineers. So these are enough to take full ownership over this feature. And let's see exactly what they do if you're curious. So product owner creates the product roadmap and defines the strategic vision. Product designer ensures that the customer has a great experience, and the software engineer is responsible for the software lifecycle, basically. And then you can read more of that there. So that is the first team, quite small. And here's another team. This is actually the first team I joined. Okay, so I'm going to say what team this is. It's actually changed, right? It's changed. They've added more members now. But this is the web checkout team. So we had a product owner. We had me as a product designer. There was a data analyst, a tech lead, and then 3 software engineers. So let's see. I have the definition of data analyst: key enabler to secure realization of business value from analytics, data, and models in our products. So I will talk briefly about how I worked with this team. So I was only here for 3 months, But basically, I would get some kind of task assigned to me from the product owner. We would be kind of mutually uh, teasing that out through our planning. So we usually we plan for quarters, and then we try to see, okay, what do we want to accomplish, and then can we break that down into sprints. So what needs to be done then? So usually it would be, oh, you need to do some exploration because this has to be done in a few sprints, or we need to get this design ready because we have committed to developing this. So I would get those kinds of tickets, and then I would, for example, if it was in the beginning, then I would check with these software engineers, talk about, okay, what's the feasibility of this? What is an easy? So usually I would maybe create some kind of flow showing what I was thinking, and then the software engineer could come in and say, okay, this would be easier, this would be difficult, uh, and then trying to see, okay, would this solution be better? So, for example, okay, can we have a drop down, or can we have a button? Can we have a separate page? Things like that. So filter with the software engineer, and then I would, yeah, just show that to the product owner, or do some tests, show that to the product owners. Okay, these are the results we got. So I think we should do this, etc. And then also, once you would have handed it over to the software engineer, so for example, you got the design approved, or you agreed that, okay, this is what we're going to do, then you would hand it over to the software engineer, and you would bounce back and forth. They would ask questions about, okay, how am I going to do this specifically, or this, I found out this, can we do something else, things like that. And then when that was done, then the QA person, the software engineer who's responsible for the quality assurance, they would check some stuff, and then maybe there would be something that wouldn't be working, and then they would check with you. So it would be go back and forth, and then finally, when it's released, then the data analyst would. So, for example, if it's an A/B test, or yeah, so for example, we were redesigning the delivery section of the web checkout. So after that, we were going to compare this with the current design. So we released that, and then the data analyst said, okay, these are the results. So this performed better, or, oh, this is strange behavior, not sure why. So then you could have another iteration of doing usability tests, trying to find out, okay, why was it like that? And then that's how you continuously improve the product, basically. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. That's from the top of my head, but that was my team. So, what else can a team look like? Oh, we've got a new kind of role here, and a lot of different kinds of developers. So, we have a business expert. So, let's check that. They work closely with the product owner, development teams, and other stakeholders, helping to make sure that the product development is in line with the business need. So we had, in my other team, we had a business expert. So they would be there kind of, I saw them a bit as an advisor. They would have good knowledge, saying, okay, I think this is good, this is bad, based, there's existing research on that, this is what the market looks like. So great knowledge. And then we have an enterprise architect. So that is actually a more specialized role. Let me see if I can pull up the definition. I'm Googling. I'm not sure if you can see it. So the enterprise architect applies architecture principles and practices to guide the product organization through the business, information, and technology changes necessary to execute on strategies. So more system level, looking at how everything's going to go together. And then we have some more specifics for the software engineers. So front end, iOS, Android, AEM, and AEM stands for Adobe Experience Manager, and that's a content management solution. So basically, that's what we use at H&M to put together the pages. And then a software engineer for A/B tests. So this is a more engineer heavy team. And then we have this one with a scrum master, full-time scrum master, which is not too common. And then we have two business experts, not too common either. And then also a bunch of developers or software engineers. So let's see, Scrum Master, what's the definition of that? Accountable for establishing Scrum and is accountable for the team's effectiveness. They do this by enabling the team to improve its practices. In most teams, it's actually one of the other members who are a Scrum Master. So it's a hat you put on, not really a job role in most cases, but they've chosen to have a Scrum Master here. And then Hybris, you know, people talk about Hybris all the time. I am not quite fully understood. I think it's the old system. Not sure. I have to check that out. Okay, and then here we have another team with even more developers, I believe. So several Android developers, several iOS developers, and then QA for iOS and Android. And then I'm not sure what these are. They might be backend engineers, backend developers. So that's another one. And then this is my current team. A bit interesting. So this is the one in innovation and incubation. So it's going to look a bit different compared to others. So we have the product owner and a new role called a cross product coordinator. We have a service designer, which is also new actually. Let me check if I can bring up the service designer, bring up the role description. All right. Product designer, I have an intern, have a data analyst, data engineer, enterprise architect, software engineer, software engineer. These are back end, I believe, and then A/B tests. So yeah, I'm not sure because they just joined. So let me check. So this is the definition for cross-product coordinator, responsible for managing complex cross-cutting initiatives, including but not limited to technical activities, new product development. You can read the rest. And I will actually pull up the description for service designer as well. So they use service design to build a holistic picture for the H&M Group to understand what's going on with our customers and to map their experience to determine what could be better or different by balancing customer and business needs. And I will find the final one, the data engineer. Let me just Google that. This is actually super quick to Google. So I think the closest is data scientist. So this is the definition. As a data scientist, you will work in collaboration with our business and engineering people on creating value from data. Often the work requires solving complex problems by turning vast amounts of data into business insights through advanced analytics, modeling, and machine learning. All right. So I will talk a bit about how do we work here. So yes, so the product owner, they are responsible for the roadmap and strategy. The cross. So from my perspective, this is how I work with my team. So the exploration and design is kind of split between me and the service designer. I focus on the digital experience, so what is on the app and on the website, while the service designer will look at the things that are around it. So the process, people. So for example, they would look into the assortment and the price and doing research on that. And also, okay, how do we work with this behind the scenes? How can we design the returns behind the scenes? So we're split up like that. And I will have a lot of the prototyping and because our team coordinates with a lot of other teams, I have to think about the coordination and then also the product design strategy and also the experimentation. And that's a heavy load. So that's why I have a product design intern. So I delegate a lot of the more, uh, a lot of things that I don't have that much time for, or things that I can give to her so that I can focus on a few particular things. And then I would collaborate with the data analysts running A/B tests. So these are other sets of experiments that we can use to test our hypotheses. So both A/B tests and the painted door tests. So that is when we pretend that there is a feature, but we only make the beginning of that to get early feedback on the idea or get some understanding of how users would behave. So I would be working with them and the A/B test developer to create these tests, and then I would also check with the cross product coordinator with checking, okay, so what do we know about the product so far? So they would be the ones talking to a lot of the product owners and find out, okay, what is actually possible. And they do this together with the enterprise architect. And then I will check with them, okay, so what do we know so far, so that I know the kind of the restrictions that I have, so that I can design based off of that. And then I would check with the product owner with about my priorities. So, okay, I have all of these things. What should I do in order to make sure that we can work towards our vision, product vision? So that is pretty much everything, I believe, unless I have something else. Right. So these are all the teams next to each other, so you can check a bit more. So if you were to join H&M, you could join any one of these teams. Quite interesting, and um, the interesting thing is that you can move as well. So, for example, me, I moved after, or I was asked if I wanted to move because a new team was created and I was a good fit. But basically, that's it for today for this video. If you want to know more about what my week looks like at H&M as a senior product designer, then you can click on the video over there. And if you're more curious about, what does it look like for the experience design, for the roles that exist in experience design. So what are they? How does it look like? How do they work together? Then you can click on the video over there. But thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.